you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, welcome. And don't forget to hit the bell and subscribe to your girl. Today we'll be talking about my transition from Atlanta, Georgia to Dallas, Texas with little to no money. I'm really changing my lifestyle. And it was a pretty smooth transition. Okay, so maybe about years ago, let's just say that, years ago, I made the decision to move to Dallas, Texas. I just kind of like woke up and it was like, I'm moving to Dallas, Texas. Made that decision and that's just what I stuck with. So as years went on, I ended up meeting my partner and he ended up wanting to move to Dallas, Texas as well. So this kind of fueled my fire of wanting to move to Dallas. It kind of like confirmed it for me. Like, wait, I met somebody that literally been wanting to move to Dallas, and then this happens. Like, it has to be God. Once I made that decision, I went ahead and said to myself, okay, I'm not going to move. I was in college at the time. At this point in my life, I'm not moving before I graduate college because I didn't want to have to go through the transition of my credits not transferring to another state. So I made the decision to wait until I graduate. I graduated December 13th, and that's in a year before then, I had already started my savings account. I started my savings account with Synchrony Bank. They didn't give me a card where I can literally take money out all the time because you can't use it, you know, when you go to restaurants and stuff like that, you have to literally go to an ATM. Which at some points I be forgetting I still have this bank account now. And so I set up automatic payments where it automatically took out $50 every check. I get paid every 2 weeks. So if you get paid like once or every week, if you get paid every week, you could be able to save twice as much as I saved in a year span. So every 2 weeks, I put away $50. I just literally did a whole speech and I wasn't even recording. Can we get some drinks going? I mean, at this point.
Can't run with the goose egg.
Woo! No more of that. Fuck no. So I use Synchrony Bank. They have a year-end interest rate, of course. So they were putting like 50 cents, 75 cents, 40 cents, 30 cents on top of the money that was already in there. No, it's not a lot at all. So it's not like whoop, woo, you know, woo woo. But the higher your balance, the more money you got back from them. So as my money kept growing, I began to, because I did end up hitting the 5,000 mark. And once I hit that mark, my interest rate went up. So therefore, I was able to accumulate more money from Synchrony Bank. Right? This was not a specifically planned savings account. This, for the move, it was actually my emergency account. And then I turned it into, okay, it's time for me to start putting money aside for my move. So let me just go ahead and use this money and let me just add some more money on top of that. And so that is exactly what I did. I was able to save $300 a month. And so for 12 months, that gives you $3,600. A lot of people try to put in your mind that it's difficult to do, it's difficult to move to another state, you're gonna struggle, you're gonna start from bottom, blah, blah, blah. It's all about planning. It's all about manifestation. It's all about continuing to work towards that goal. Once I got my confirmation from the school that I was going to definitely graduate December 13th, that was when at the point that I started to look for a job here. Now, granted, I've already worked for a corporation in Atlanta, and they're really, really big. And I knew that they had different accounts all over the world. And so I was like I knew that was my fallback plan. That was my plan B. I was just going to transfer out if I do not find the job or if I don't get called back for a job that I really want. And of course I got callbacks and stuff like that, but it was nothing I was really wanting. And it wasn't at the price point that I was wanting either. So I ended up going for a job, literally popped up on the site for the company that I work for, the exact same position that I did in Atlanta here. I'm like, no fucking brainer. I'm applying for this job. So I go ahead and apply for the job. I fly out maybe a week before. A week after I graduated college, I fly out for my interview. I land the job, fly back home, and then, I told them I wouldn't start until Super Bowl weekend because I already had plans, I already had stuff going on, and then my mom was trying to get me to go to the Super Bowl party that she was throwing. Couldn't do that because I had already accepted a job and I had to start the job on Monday. By the time I actually got there, though, I didn't actually start working until like 2 weeks after. We'll get there. So as I said before, I had my job already secure. I had a savings account with $3,600 in it. I used Synchrony Bank to save up this money for myself. And I did it without even thinking about it because I made sure that the money transferred before I could see it. It's the best thing to do because if you're like me, you want every coin that you work for, but you can't be stubborn to yourself. You can't mistreat yourself or put yourself in a position where you won't get exactly what you want because you're holding yourself back. I'm never going to be the one to hold myself back. I don't want to be that person. And so therefore, that's why I do the automatic payment of my savings account because it's my money. It's not like it's going to somebody else. It's my money still. But this is saving for times where I need it. And at this time, I was moving to a whole nother state. I needed my own money. Did I ship my car? No, I did not ship my car. When it came to shipping of the car, I have a dog. Okay, if you haven't already noticed, you've probably seen her walking past. I have a dog, and I was not about to put her on a plane for the first time there, and I didn't know how the process was on the plane, and I knew I was gonna have a lot of stuff, and I just didn't want to go through all that. That actually scratched out me getting the car or having the car shipped. And then it was $600. It was like $600, $700, close to $700 for me to ship my car. I didn't see the value in me paying the $700 to ship my car and then also having to pay for my flight plus my dog to get to Dallas. It was going to be over $1,000 most likely. And to what? Just me getting there? Pass. So what ended up happening, my partner has family in Louisiana. And so we drove literally... I drove my own car. He drove his own car. We drove from Atlanta to Louisiana. And then we drove the rest of the 4 hours because that's a 6-hour span. And then we drove the rest of the 4 hours after we took a rest in Louisiana. And I will never do that drive again. Like, never. Like, that drive was terrible. I ride probably majority of my drive to Texas because at that moment I knew that I was leaving. I was no longer going to be in Atlanta. I was no longer going to be next to my mom, my dad, my cousins, my sister, my nieces. Nobody. I literally have no family here. None. Zilch. I stayed in an extended stay for probably about 2 weeks as I was trying to figure out where I was going to stay because the place that I wanted to stay at, and so they ended up having way more fees for you to have to indulge in, and so it was just like, it wasn't kind of worth it to me. I literally found my current apartment on my phone, me just browsing through and just saying, you know what, I'm not staying in this. I literally was my last 2 days of my extended stay. I'm like, I'm not staying in this extended stay no longer. I'm not paying them another $300 a week because I think it was like $300 a week to stay in there. I'm like, we're not, no, that's a zilch. No, we're not gonna do that. Once we moved here, it was just cool from that point on. It was just about getting the transition right. I started my job. I was already starting my job while I was at the extended stay, so the transition ended up being very, very smooth. I didn't get homesick again. I was homesick in the extended stay. Once I got my own place, I was no longer homesick, you know. So that was that. The main thing when it comes to moving is to make sure that you are saving money. If you're not saving money, if you're not constantly saving money, whether that's $20, $50, $30, $100, it does not matter what it is. If you're not saving money right now, if you're trying to move a year out, you're not moving smoothly. Like, it's not going to happen smoothly because there's a lot of money that happens in the beginning. Like, you know, you have to pay deposits for your apartment. If you have credit score problems, you have to pay more money when you're trying to get a place. So with that being said, and then you have to pay initial fees for like lights, rentals insurance, all the different things that we normally have to pay for, you have to do the same thing when you move to another state. And so, and also getting your driver's license changed over, that costs money too. So it's important to save your money. Save it. I think $3,000 is like the minimum of a smooth transition. And it's for you to buy stuff for your house, so you're not coming to an empty house. If you want the transition to be smooth, it will only be as smooth as you prepare it to be. I said people will try to stir you away from moving because maybe they had a bad experience with moving. Maybe when they moved, it was, you know, a very bad experience. Maybe you do not get your coins together, the transition will not be smooth, okay? If you get a job, even if you get a job, the transition will not be smooth. Securing a job before I left was very, very important to me. Securing a job before I left was the second most important thing to me. I wanted to make sure that money was coming in. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be in a predicament where I moved to a state and I couldn't find a job fast enough. You know, I didn't want to be in a rush to find a job because then you accept jobs that aren't up to your standards, and you don't want to do that. That messes up it kind of messes up your motivation. Let's talk about me. It messes up my motivation. It's just not, no. If I've been there and I've done that, then I've been there and I've done that. I need something else. So make sure that you have a job secure and ready for you before you move. It was like the second most important thing to me. And I got that complete as well. I do not recommend shipping your car unless you're going super far where there's no way you can drive. Like if you can't drive, like if you're moving from the South to like New York or something, totally understand you shipping your car because that is a long drive. Granted, my best friend makes that drive a lot, but I couldn't even survive the Texas drive. So I can only imagine the New York drive. I wouldn't do it. Ship it. And moving by yourself, making sure that I picked a place that was comfortable for me, that wouldn't condone me staying in a house, like staying on a street or in an area where there's not a lot of shopping centers, there's not a lot of shopping areas, there's no movie theater nearby, there's nothing really to engage with or entertainment or anything like that. I did not want to move in a space like that because you're bound to fall into depression if you're moving into another state, no family, nothing, and then you move somewhere that's boring. I can't finish out this video without giving the credit to me learning to manifest, me learning self-affirmations, me learning how to manifest the things in my life. Like if I did not learn how to do that, I'm not sure that I would be here today. All right, guys, so that is my story on how I moved from Atlanta, Georgia to Dallas, Texas, and how you can do the exact same thing. Don't forget to hit the bell so that you can be notified when my next video pops up. And also, don't forget to subscribe and comment below. Did I like that? I don't think so. Also, you can check out the description box below. I have a couple other budget plans that I've used, like giving myself $100, $150 and putting the rest of my money in savings and paying bills, of course. I'm talking hardcore savings, guys. Don't forget to check that out.